The Last Loaves, Episode 3, Festival Fire and Strange Fish. What a day. What an absolutely incredible day. My feet are killing me. My arms ache from carrying bread trays all morning, and I think I still smell like bonfire smoke. But gods, what a day. Let me tell you about the Festival of Vulcanalia. September 23rd, the day I discovered what it feels like to have your heart skip beats, and also the day we all saw something that should have worried us a lot more than it did. September 23rd, 79 CE. Dear Diary, I don't even know where to start with today. My hands are actually shaking a little as I write this, partly from exhaustion, partly from excitement, and partly from something else I can't quite name. The Festival of Vulcanalia was everything I expected, and absolutely nothing like I imagined. We were up before dawn, of course. Festival days mean triple the normal bread production, and Uncle was in full dramatic mode from the moment we lit the ovens. Today, he announced as if addressing the Roman Senate, we honor the mighty Vulcan with loaves worthy of the gods themselves. Titus and I just looked at each other. The kid has gotten used to Uncle's theatrical moments over the past week, but Festival Day Uncle is something else entirely. Our flame-shaped festival loaves turned out beautifully, golden brown and glossy with honey glaze, each one looking like actual fire frozen in bread form. Even I had to admit they were pretty impressive. Titus had finally mastered the technique, and his flames looked almost as good as mine. Not bad for someone who couldn't operate a grain mill 8 days ago, I told him, as we loaded the last batch into carrying baskets. He grinned, flour streaking his cheek. Wait until you see what I do to the festival stall setup. As it turned out, he was actually helpful with the stall. We'd claimed a good spot near the fountain in the main square. Prime real estate for Festival Day. People need water when they're celebrating, and thirsty people buy more bread. The morning started perfectly. Beautiful weather, clear skies, and Vesuvius looking particularly majestic in the distance, all purple and peaceful against the blue sky. The whole city was in festive mood, with garlands hanging from every shop and the smell of roasting meat already drifting from the food stalls. We'd sold about half our stock by the 4th hour when I saw her. Livia was walking across the square with what I assumed was her mother, an elegant woman who moved with the same confident grace. They were both wearing their best stolas, Livia's a deep red that made her dark hair look even more beautiful. My heart did that skippy thing again. Marcus, Titus said, waving a hand in front of my face. You're staring again. I'm not staring, I protested, not taking my eyes off her. I'm observing customer traffic patterns. Right, customer traffic patterns. Livia and her mother were examining the wine stall across from us, probably her father's competition. I watched as she pointed out different amphorae, clearly explaining something to her mother. Even from a distance, I could see she knew what she was talking about. Go talk to her, Titus suggested. I can't just abandon the stall, I said, though I desperately wanted to. I'll watch it. Go. Before I could lose my nerve, I grabbed one of our best flame loaves and walked over. My palms were sweating, which seemed ridiculous for someone who works with hot ovens all day. Livia, I called out as I approached. Good morning. She turned, and that smile, gods, that smile could light up the whole forum. Marcus, how lovely to see you again. I brought you this, I said, holding out the flame loaf like an idiot. You mentioned wanting to try our festival bread. How thoughtful. She accepted the loaf, examining the intricate flame pattern. This is beautiful work. The shaping is incredible. I felt a ridiculous surge of pride. Thank you. It's a special recipe for Vulcanalia, honey worked into the dough, and we use a special technique for the flame pattern. Her mother appeared at her elbow looking amused. And who is this young man, Livia? Mother, this is Marcus. He works at the Gaius Bakery. They make the most wonderful bread. Livia turned to me. Marcus, this is my mother, Claudia Caecilia. I managed what I hoped was a respectful bow. An honor to meet you, Domina. She smiled warmly. The pleasure is mine. Livia has mentioned your bakery several times recently. Had she? My heart did another one of those skips. We should let you get back to your customers, Livia said, though she didn't sound like she particularly wanted to end the conversation. Actually, I heard myself saying, if you're not busy later, after the main ceremonies, perhaps you'd like to see how we make the flame bread. I mean, if you're interested in the technique. Smooth, Marcus. Really smooth. But she lit up. I'd love that. I've always been curious about bread making. Father says it's almost as much art as commerce. Your father sounds very wise, I managed. I'll come by your bakery after the evening bonfires, she said. If that's not too late? Not too late at all, I said, probably grinning like a fool. As they walked away, I stood there trying to process what had just happened. She was coming to the bakery, tonight, to learn about bread making. How did it go? Titus asked when I returned to our stall, still dazed. She's coming to the bakery tonight, I said, to buy bread, to learn how to make flame loaves. Titus stared at me. That's either the worst pickup line in history, or she actually likes you. The rest of the morning passed in a blur of bread sales and festival preparations. The city was filling up with people from the surrounding countryside, all coming for the big celebration. Musicians were setting up in the square. Vendors were hawking everything from roasted nuts to Lucky Charms, and the wine was flowing freely despite the early hour. By midday, we'd sold almost everything. Uncle was practically glowing with pride and profit. Best festival day in years, he kept saying. Best festival day in years. The main ceremony began in the early afternoon. The priests of Vulcan led a procession to his shrine near the harbor, carrying the sacred fire that would light the main bonfire. Everyone followed, singing hymns and carrying offerings. The bonfire was impressive, a massive construction of wood and brush that towered above the crowd. When the priests lit it, the flames shot up so high you could probably see them from Nuceria. Then came the offerings, fish and small animals thrown into the fire as sacrifices to appease Vulcan and protect the city from fires during the hot season. That's when we saw the first strange thing, the fish offerings. They're supposed to be live fish thrown into the flames as part of the ritual, but when the fishermen brought their baskets to the bonfire, something was clearly wrong. Those fish are already dead, someone near me muttered. He was right. The fish weren't just dead. They were belly up, eyes clouded, looking like they'd been dead for hours. The smell was unpleasant. The priests didn't seem to know what to do. There was some hurried consultation, then they decided to proceed with the ceremony anyway. Dead fish went into the fire instead of live ones, creating an absolutely terrible smell that had people backing away from the bonfire. Probably just bad luck with the catch, Uncle said when I mentioned it to him later. Happens sometimes in late summer. But it seemed odd to me. I'd been to plenty of festivals, and I'd never seen all the ritual fish dead like that. The fishermen I talked to later were just as puzzled. Never seen anything like it, old Marcus the fisherman told me. Went out this morning like always, threw the nets, and they came up full of dead fish, all kinds, mullet, sea bream, anchovies, all belly up. Could they have gotten sick? I asked. He shrugged. Fish get sick, sure. But not usually all at once like that. Not every kind in the same area. It was strange, but honestly, I was too distracted by thoughts of Livia's upcoming visit to worry much about dead fish. The afternoon flew by, more music, more wine, more celebrating. I managed to enjoy myself despite the lingering smell from the bonfire. Titus got moderately drunk for the first time in his life and spent an hour trying to convince everyone that he could juggle bread loaves. He could not. As evening approached and the celebration started winding down, my nervousness returned. Livia was actually coming to our bakery. What was I going to teach her? What if I made a fool of myself? What if I burned the demonstration bread? Relax, Uncle advised when I confided my worries. Just be yourself. Show her the craft.